What's really goody? It's your girl, S.E.T.ORACLE, the Universal Donor. And I'd like to welcome you back to S.E.T.ORACLE, acronym S.E.T. Welcome to the set. What set? Full set, all 10 nails. Thank you for visiting. Please, first of all, thank you for your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Please tell a friend to tell a friend so we can all be friends at S.E.T.Oracle99. Thank you for hanging with me. It is Thursday, May 22nd, 2025, and I am more than happy to be here with you. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm trying not to make my readings so long because I know I'm a very talkative individual. So I'm going to try and see if I can cut down on time a little bit. So the Most High Father God, ancestors, please grant the collective the serenity to accept things they cannot change, the courage to change things that they can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Let me get two more good shuffles in here. One more good shuffle in there. Oh, no, that wasn't good. Let me do it again. All right. So what do we got? Packages. Stockholm Syndrome. And second house. Second house is value, self-worth, heredity, talent, money, I have, Venus, love and values. Stockholm Syndrome. Hostage has bond with captors. Internalizing rationale. Packages. So what I'm getting from this is that there seems to be a comfortable level of physical or emotional abuse amongst a group. It's a part of the background. It's a part of how they make their money. It's a part of their heredity. And it's possible that they have a certain hierarchy in the community that allows them to do this. And when I'm looking at packages, I see people, but we'll figure that out. We got Senator. Please ghost me. And God will give you another opportunity. So yeah, somebody is over a group. Maybe somebody's over a group, and somebody else is looking to possibly get away from this group, get out of this situation. I'm going to turn the Stockholm Syndrome card over only because the color at the top is the color of please ghost me. So what is that? No, you did nothing wrong. You absolutely are not at fault for your abuse. So yeah, somebody is trying to get away from an abusive situation. Somebody doesn't want to be in bondage with the person that's doing this to them. And it seems like I said, senator, social privilege, cultural background, security, earning the ability. So somebody in a high up position feels like they earn the right to do this. And they are privileged, which makes it easier for them to do this. And they are in a position to where they can say what is and what isn't. They get to decide the rules. Stockholm Syndrome. Here, Senate only. President officials, judicial officials provide, withhold, advise, consent to treaties. Yeah, so whoever this is in this position, they have a say-so over who comes and goes. Therefore, they're able to abuse whoever they're holding captive however they want, because they earned the ability and social privilege, and they have some level of security behind them. This is almost like somebody who can do whatever they want and they'll never get in trouble because they sit so high up and other people that are just like them will back them. That's what I'm getting. And the God will give you another opportunity. What I'm getting is you'll be freed from this. Whoever these people are, the packages, God will give you another opportunity. These people, because what? I'm getting at least 6 people that may have experienced this under one person's hand, and they'll be freed from this. Rolf. Compare and contrast. They always knew who you are. Rolf means to treat, massage, term, aim at, release, and realignment of the body. So somebody in a high up position was trying to abuse somebody to get them in line. That's what I'm getting. They were using their social privilege to get somebody in line. This person in a high up position, their ideas, their concepts are very questionable. And people are now starting to look into them. They always knew who you were. Whoever this group is, they always knew who the collective was. They always knew who you were at heart. So now somebody is looking into the abuse. Taurus, I have the right to treat you the way I do because of how I feel about myself. And I've been given the social privilege, and I have the security and the background to where nobody's going to do anything to me. And I feel like these packages, those who have been victims of that same level of abuse, they're now questioning the concepts and ideas of this senator. Compare, contrast, senator. Please ghost me. Concepts, items, places, ideas. I'm going based off of the colors. And now I always tell you guys, I never color coded the cards. I just use the colors as I use the colors. But if they come out, I look at that. They always knew who you were. Second house. They always knew you had a purpose. They always knew you had value. You were talented. They knew you were secure in yourself. They knew your background. They knew where you came from. That's why they decided that they would go along the lines of, being a radical, being abusive. They wanted to, I make the rules for you, even though it was almost like they knew that there was some goodness in you, and they wanted to have you as a hostage. They wanted to keep you under their thumb. And that bond that they had with you, being under their thumb via captive, was physical and or emotional abuse. And what they did was they made you feel like it was normal, or they tried to make it seem like it was normal. And they tried to give excuses and rationalize why it should be done to you, to realign who you are, to get you away from your second house, to make you not feel worthy, to make you not feel like who you are, to make you get away from your values. Chronic, persisting for a long time. Inner peace is your greatest shield. I cared for you until I didn't. So, chronic comes under realignment. So they've been abusing whoever this is or whoever these people are. Or maybe they could have been sending out multiple forms of abuse. But they've been doing it for a long time. This has been a recurring thing. Inner peace is your greatest shield. While they're trying to internalize and rationalize the things that they did, you are getting away from them. And others are now starting to see what's really going on because you've been peaceful all this time. Your peace has been your protection. I cared for you until I didn't. They always knew who you were. It was one of those things to where you might have even really cared for this person. And they knew your abundance, but you had to walk away from that and have faith that you will be able to begin anew. Yeah. You'll be given another chance to get away from whatever abusive situation that was. Somebody kept they kept firing shots at you, and you were just kind of like, please leave me alone. And whoever this person is that tries to make the rules, they have some type of sick trauma bond with the people that they abuse. And they did not ever want you to know that anything that happened to you was not your fault. They tried to make you feel like you deserved whatever you got. And because of who you were, you just wanted to be left alone. I get it. You wanted to be released from all of that so you can be who you are. You knew who you were, and they knew who you were. That's why they kept trying to get in your energy and do some weird stuff. So whoever this person is in a high place, people are looking at them. They're questioning things. And while they're questioning things, you're getting a chance to get away from all of this. And these people have probably been questioning this for a long time, wondering why. Well, if you deserve all of this, why is God still blessing you? If you're such a bad person and you deserve to be physically or emotionally destroyed, why are your blessings still coming in? Once you release these people, your peace was something that they could not break. Because it's almost like once somebody shows you who they are, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. You started looking at this person who was held in high honor, I would say, that has social privilege and security due to a certain background. You started looking at them and you started asking questions. And at one point in time, you really might have cared for this person. And then when you realized what it was, they had they got a kick out of abusing people that they were connected to. Confirmation. Once you realize that, you got out of there. You got out of Dodge. And it wasn't easy from what I'm seeing. It wasn't easy because of the pull and the backing that this person had. And how many shots they sent to you, or how many people they sent to you as shots. But you got another opportunity, because even though they always knew who you were, and you always, you probably had an inkling of who they were, you had to let that go. All right, we're gonna go to the small deck. Yeah, whoever this person was has been very abusive for a long time. And I'm not even going to say that they have only been abusive to you. Hostage has bond with captors, meaning that they get people in a certain position to where they want, and then they start trying to, they first of all, they've already internalized the abuse. But then they want you to understand why they do it. It's like, see, well, you made me do this and that to you because this, that, and the third. You made me treat you that way because of this, that, and the third. They want you to accept, internalize, and rationalize. They want you to accept the abuse and see it as normal. No, baby. No kind of abuse is normal. Whether it is mental, physical, emotional, financial, or whatever. No type of abuse is normal. And what we will not be doing in 2025 is we will not be making excuses for any kind of abuser. We won't be doing that. Because abuse isn't just putting your hands on somebody. There's a lot of different forms of abuse. And people go through it every day. Every freaking day. And it's some people out there, they know something is wrong, but they can't quite put their finger on it because it doesn't come off like what we know to be what abuse is. The first thing you think of when you think of abuse is somebody putting their hands on somebody else. That's the first thing you think of. But no, there's other ways of abusing somebody. Just like there's other ways of graping somebody. But that's a conversation for another day. It gets deep. The psychology of a lot of this stuff is really and truly deep. And today, being a psychologist, oh my God. F them textbooks that was written back in 1978. Baby, we're on a whole new level of crazy around here. You feel me? We're on a whole new level of physical activity. The drugs, the attention, the social media access, the internet information. Man, look, a lot of people are on information overload. Information overload. And let's not even get to these podcasts. Where people just be saying anything and people go along with it is because that's how they live, not knowing that that's not the right way to live. That's a lot too. I'm gonna come to the side like this. Packages. Even Brit had a lawyer. And it's coming out in reverse. So when I see this, and please ghost me, it might be a situation to where people are out here calling you crazy because you recognize the truth, you compared and contrast, and you figured out what was going on. And they used who you are against you. You might have to take legal action. Stockholm Syndrome. Shaking the table. They did what they did to you because they didn't want you causing any problems. They didn't want you stirring up anything. They didn't want you, they wanted to realign you to get you to go with what they had going on. And this has been happening for a long time. They've been trying to keep you quiet for a very long time. Second house. Muck for a bag. Yeah. Somebody did what they had to do to get social privilege and security, to get money, to be able to keep you quiet. So they did what they had to do. They mucked for a bag. They did whatever they had to do to stop you from coming forward or ever having anybody to defend you or represent you, because you figured out who they were and you got out of Dodge. Senator, what's the procedure? Shaking the table, muck for a bag. So whoever this person is, they had a whole game plan. They asked for help. They asked people to help them stop you from causing any kind of trouble or making any kind of ruckus. They sold themselves. They were realigned. They ended up getting realigned. And they probably had to do this over and over and over again. Please ghost me. Nasty work. In reverse. They didn't want you causing any kind of problems because they were doing so much bad to you behind the scenes, and they would not let you go. They did not want to let you go. It's almost like if you would have been able to walk away in peace, there wouldn't have been no problems. But walking away in peace was not enough. I got to destroy you. What's the procedure? Well, you're going to give me what I want so you can get what you want to stop this person. And you're going to have to do that nasty work. You're going to have to do behind the scenes. You're going to have to do what I want. You're going to have to sell yourself if you want me to have your back and take this person down behind the scenes. God will give you another opportunity. Broken contract. In reverse. They thought it was solid. They thought whatever this agreement that they made was solid. They thought they would be able to continue to do this. They thought it would be recurring. They thought they would be able to try to realign you over and over and over, past, present, and future. They thought they would be able to continue to do this. Rolf. Manic. Intense anxiety, anger. Somebody is really upset that they couldn't do this. Somebody is extremely upset that they couldn't do this. But they're trying to hide it. They're really trying to hide it. Because they went through all of this. They did some nasty work. They upped for a buck to stop any problems from coming out and stop you from having any kind of representation, protection, or help. Compare and contrast. Hating outside because they can't get in. That's what they were so mad about. People are realizing that, oh, I cared for you until I didn't. You're mad because the collective don't care no more. You're mad because the collective don't care no more. That's what all of this was about with your weak ass. You're mad because the collective does not care anymore. People are starting to see the pattern of other people and why they did what they did. It makes sense. They always knew who you are. Married to the game. Whatever you had going on, you were solid in it. Inner peace is your greatest shield. You were solid in your peace. You were solid in your desires, your wishes, and you were not going back. You took that on as a solid covenant. I will never go back to this kind of abuse and turmoil, and you cannot make me. That's why they did what they did. They always knew. They always knew once you got out of this, you were never coming back. That's why they tried to bond you. AKA hostage has bond with captors. They kept trying to trauma bond and internalize and rationalize. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this. Well, you made me do that. They kept trying to get you in your head. So that way you can come back and be abused again. And make an excuse for your abuser. You were supposed to be able to make an excuse for this person. You were supposed to provide an alibi and withhold certain information. That way they would never ever get caught for what they did. They didn't want you causing any problems. Because that's what you were supposed to do. Hide who they are from the world. Nah, son. Chronic illness. Wanted you on the path of DV. Domestic violence. Stockholm syndrome. Same color. Same color. What does it say on the other side? Know that you did nothing wrong. The abuse was not your fault, baby. They wanted you to be able to accept this. Because it had been going on so long, they wanted you to see it as normal. And they did not ever want you to have any kind of representation. They never wanted anybody to be able to help you. They didn't want you to get any help. Inner peace is your greatest shield. You've been cool for at least 3 years. You've been cool for a little bit. 3 years or more. They've been trying to do this to you for 3 years or more. Because they thought they had a solid hold on you. They really did. They thought they had a solid hold on you. They thought what they had already put out there could never be broken. And they've been trying to hold on to that for some years now. But I feel like you've been at peace for some years now. And these people still keep trying. They still keep trying to enter your energy. I cared for you until I didn't. Gemini, I think. Third house, communication. Mercury, teacher, linguistics, journalist, sales. You had to really sit down and think about this. And in those 3 years or so, you had time to think. And you realized why they were doing all of this. It came to pass why they were doing all of this to you. You were being, it may not have even had to be physically, but you were enduring some type of abuse because you saw who this person was and that they bond through treating people bad, and you went away. And they're trying to hide who they truly are, a manic. They're trying to hide it. They were trying to realign the person that they were. They were trying to restore or have a different position. They didn't want who they are to really be seen, but it's out there because they wanted you on this path and they never ever wanted you to have help. Somebody was trying to lead you down a road to where you thought that kind of abuse was normal and you should always cover for the abuser. But you sat down and you thought about it. You acknowledged what it really was. And they didn't want to let go. They didn't want to let go. They didn't want you to get another opportunity for you to go out there and be who you are. For you to have value. For you to be secure. For you to understand your self-worth. Anybody that's willing to put you in a dangerous position, and I don't blame nobody that is still working on getting out or hasn't gotten out, because sometimes it's a lot of dangers and scary things behind that. But once you realize it, you got to stay married to the game. Don't ever forget who they are. And don't ever forget who you are. So, in this day and age, when it comes down to situations like that, you have to move strategically. Because your life is on the line. And a lot of times you are isolated from friends and family and things like that to where you can't call for help. And I'm so sorry for those that are going through that. But I'll tell you one thing. I have not given up on you. I have a lot of faith that you can make it out. But, no, ain't no but. And I know you have to play your cards right. But never give up. Never give up. Never, ever give up. Do what you gotta do to get out of certain situations. But just know that this was definitely a plan. They've been doing it for a long time. And if you got out of that situation, never go back. Because it was to keep you quiet. Don't ever go back. Collective, I love you. I love you so much. Don't think that you do not have love. You do not have support. Don't ever think that, you feel me? Because there are people out here that made it out. And unfortunately, there are some people that did not. But as long as you got breath in your body, as long as you are woken up every day by whatever you believe in, you got a chance. You got a chance. Do what you gotta do, because everybody's situation is different. Do what you gotta do. But don't ever, ever, ever make the mistake of thinking you don't have a chance to be free.